In this video, we shall be discussing the debate for same sex marriage in India. The following points shall be covered in this video: the legal battle for recognition of same sex marriage, the arguments against the same sex marriage, the arguments in favor, and the way forward. Recently, the Supreme Court of India began hearing a series of petitions seeking solemnization of same sex marriage under the Special Marriage Act. The Special Marriage Act of 1954 provides a civil form of marriage for couples who cannot marry under their personal law. In the proceedings, the Centre advised the Supreme Court to defer the case to the Parliament on the matter, stating that the law cannot be revised to permit same sex marriage again. In this context, there is a need to look into the matter of same-sex marriage and its related issues. Now, let us look the arguments against the same-sex marriage. The religious definition of marriage. Marriage has traditionally been between a man and a woman in many religions. The Special Marriage Act of 1954 was created to overcome the limitations of religious personal laws, not to create a new institution of marriage. Secondly, only parliament has the authority to decide on the same sex marriage, as it is a matter of democratic right, and court should not legislate on this issue. Thirdly, when queer couples adopt children, it can lead to societal stigma, discrimination, and negative impacts on the child's emotional and psychological well-being, especially in the society where acceptance of LGBTQ community is not universal. The burdensome task of interpreting the law. The Special Marriage Act cannot be interpreted to include same sex marriage because the Act's entire architecture will need to be examined and not just a few words. For example, the Act provides specific rights to a wife, and it's unclear who will have these rights in a same sex marriage. Therefore, it would be a difficult task to interpret the same. Now, let us look at the arguments in favor of the same sex marriage. The proponents of same sex marriage claim that opposing same sex marriage by saying it will end the human race is unreasonable because adoption is a solution for queer couples who want to raise their children. Also, the CJI uh, of India says that biological gender is not absolute and that gender is a more complex than just one's genitals, and therefore there is no absolute concept of a man and a woman. Now, thirdly, the LGBTQ community is being denied important legal benefits like tax benefits, medical rights, inheritance, and adoption by not being allowed to marry. Marriage is not just about dignity, but also a collection of rights that they are being denied. Moving forward, uh, cohabitation is a fundamental right. The Chief Justice of India acknowledged that cohabitation is a fundamental right, and it is the government's obligation to legally recognize the social impact of such relationships. The court suggested labels like contract or partnership instead of marriage. The government said that there is no fundamental right to seek recognition of same-sex marriage relationships in India. The Supreme Court of India discussed the recognition of cohabitation as a fundamental right for same sex couples, which will entitle them to benefit without being equated to marriage. Now, extending Special Marriage Act to cures. The Special Marriage Act should be extended to include queer Indians by using gender neutral language like spouse instead of husband and wife. This will grant them the right to marry without asking for special rights. Now, moving on to the way forward. Number one, engaging in a dialogue with religious leaders and communities can help bridge the gap between traditional beliefs and modern attitudes toward the same sex relationships. Secondly, amends in the Special Marriage Act to allow for same sex couples to legally marry and enjoy the rights and benefits as opposite sex couples. Thirdly, the purpose of awareness campaigns is to promote equality and acceptance of all sexual orientation and expand public opinion about the LGBTQ community. Now that's all for today. Thank you very much, and please subscribe into Legal World.